everybody. It is Friday, June 1st, and we are live. We're going to walk through all 15 games on the MLB slate for this Friday, and I'm actually a gigantic fan of this slate. There's tons of awesome hitting options, like a wealth of quality pitching at the top end. It's going to be a good one. Yesterday went really well for me, so I'm riding high. So I'm ready to dive in. Jake, what's going on with you?
Yeah, it's I'm excited for it. I'm interested to try to figure out pitching. That's always my favorite thing to do. A lot of interesting options, but not necessarily ones that are in any smash spots or anything, which is good, I think. It'll be nice to get exposure to a bunch of different guys. Maybe fade some guys that we're not used to fading. So I am pretty pumped for this slate.
Yeah, there's one on here. There's a pitcher that I don't have a ton of ownership to, which is kind of surprising to me. So that'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Bill Butler. Glad my name isn't J.R. Smith today. Yeah, I bet. Well, I'd rather be J.R. Smith than me, even with that fuck up. But he's a millionaire, so he'll get over it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think he'll get over it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a middle school play. Just not understanding what's going on. But yeah, if I were a millionaire, I wouldn't lose sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. That play is overblown. The block charge was questionable. Like that, there was a lot of questionable stuff at the end of the game, and who knows if you even would have made that shot. Like it was going to be a tough shot anyways. So.
I mean, anything that he did would have been better, basically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The only thing that could have been worse was just like directly handing it back to KD or Draymond. Other than that, like you could have threw it up over his head. Whatever he wanted to do, he would have been fine.
That's true.
It's so weird that it happened.
I know.
Whatever. George Hill needs to make that free throw. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem too. Should have never happened.
You ready to dive in?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do this. Yeah, I'm decked out in Warriors gear today, and I didn't really realize it until right now. I've got a Warriors hat on with a Warriors shirt, and I'm cheering for the Cavs, so I'm not really sure how I landed on what I'm wearing, but apparently go Warriors. And go Yankees at the Orioles. Yankees 5.3 run implied total, Orioles 4.2. It's a 61% chance to win for the Yankees. We had this conversation yesterday. Sonny Gray going for New York. Andrew Kashner going for Baltimore. Once again, Yankees bats look exceptional. Right now, they're my number 3 stack on FanDuel and my number 3 stack on DK. I'll have a ton of them, and I'll have some Sonny Gray. It's just all Yankees, much like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it's all Yankees. I mean, once again, if you got burned by the postponement like I did in some of my lineups, then you're gonna have to have a short memory here today, I think, because the Yankees are in a great spot. No real weather concerns in this one that I'm seeing, and then I'm not really on Gray. I'm more on the Baltimore bats. Like I get the reason why someone would want to play Gray. Just maybe he's got some strikeout stuff. He's 5,800 or whatever, but he's just looked so bad outside of a couple starts. So if he's going to get popular, which he may be popular as the day goes on, just because there's not very many clear options down here, then I'd rather take some Adam Jones and Machado and Scope. So that's where I'm at here.
Yeah, we're projecting a little bit of ownership for him on a 15-game slate. You know, he's just under 10%, so that's actually pretty big in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that $5,800 price point, 4.2 run implied total for the Orioles. They've been bad against righties. I like having it. I'm hoping that ownership holds. As of right now, I'm basically double the field on Sonny Gray, and I would like that to be the case once we get to closer to lock.
Yeah, I mean, I get the Sonny Gray play. I don't know if I'll keep him in my crunch. So if I have him, it'll be very little exposure right now. I'm not seeing a ton that I like.
I get that. And then I assume we're in agreement. any Yankee bat you want is functionally okay in a stack.
Yeah, except for like Romine. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big Austin Romine guy for 3,600. I think I can find a better catcher than him. But other than that, yeah, pretty much the other 8 guys.
Yeah, I don't get the Romine at all on FanDuel, obviously, but on DK as part of Judge, Stanton, something else stack, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any interest in the Orioles outside of a Jace Peterson one-off if he continues to be 2,100. Wait, obviously he's going to continue to be 2,100 because
just
fucking price doesn't change today.
Just too cheap leading off. Like that's all. We don't think he's some great hitter. I don't think, but
no, it's
just too cheap.
Yeah, too many opportunities for a leadoff hitter to be priced at 2,100 and not pop up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, since we talked about that one yesterday, we can move on pretty quickly to Blue Jays and Tigers. Blue Jays, 4.7 run implied total. Tigers, 4.7 run implied total. Coin flip game here. Jaime Garcia going for the Jays. Blaine Hardy going for the Tigers. Looks like I got maybe one line of Hardy on both sites, but ultimately this is not going to be a pitching game for me. It's really not even that big of a hitting game for me. Blue Jays look pretty good on FanDuel, less good on DK, but I'm hoping this game just isn't that interesting. I'm surprised that I'm not getting any more with that run total, but doesn't look like it's going to be the spot for me unless something changes.
Yeah, I mean, Hardy had a good start against the White Sox. I could see him doing that again here, but man, he's going to get 8 righties, 9 righties, and like he hasn't been missing a ton of bats despite a really good start last time out. So he's another one of those guys that like in the gray territory where he might get left in, but I'm not really excited about playing him at all. So I may have none of him. I may have a few lineups with Hardy, but that's really about it as far as pitching goes. I don't think I'm playing Jaime. The Tigers, they have a 112 WRC plus against lefties over the last 30 days. and just not really striking out that much. So not going to Jaime on the road here. And then the bats for me, like Donaldson's fine, Smoke's fine. And then on the Tiger side, if Miguel Cabrera's in the lineup, I like him, Castellanos, and James McCann for 2,900 on DK is a really nice catcher that I'll be going to a lot just against a lefty in a good hitting environment.
I can see that. Yeah, I get a little bit of the Jays. They're my 6th most owned stack right now on FanDuel. So Teoscar, Donaldson, Smoke, and Solarte are getting the bulk of that. Solarte better against righties, but I think he still looks okay at 3,200 for a shortstop on FanDuel. It's so funny to see him be a shortstop on FanDuel and a second baseman or third baseman on DK. Positions are weird.
Yeah,
I get a little bit of like Morales. I mean, I get a little bit of all of these guys. So it looks like I'll have a bunch of combos of the Blue Jays, but nothing just set in stone of like an obvious 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, if you want to stack up either of these teams, I'm not going to fight you on it. They're just not really teams that I'll have like primary stacks of. So
yeah,
I'll just
right. They're very much a secondary stack for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, Cubbies taking on the Mets. Cubs 4.4 run implied total. Mets 4.3. It's a 51% chance to win for the Cubs. Tyler Chatwood going for Chicago. Zach Wheeler going for New York. Again, not a game where I'm going to have much pitching. Not a game where I'm going to have much hitting. I total up, let's see, every single person in this game, and I've got a total of 11% exposure out of whatever, 1,700. So, yeah, not for me. Anything at all. I don't want anything here.
Really? I'm surprised. 9-run total, and there's some cheap bats here. Well, so I'm going to have a ton of Mets, and specifically those top 4. Nimmo, Cabrera, Conforto, and Bruce. Chatwood has, I talked about him on the night shift like how he's been one of the worst pitchers in the MLB against lefties this year. Over 8 walks per 9, under 16% K rate, hard contact way up. And then his last 5 starts just going by walks. I know we don't really care about walks that much, but they do lead to a lot of fantasy points directly or indirectly. 5 walks, 2 walks, 6 walks, and 5 walks. XFIP is over 6. He's just been terrible against lefties. And then when it's a righty, I'm always considering these top 4 Mets just because you start off with 4 lefties in a row. And 4 pretty good ones. You know, Bruce, Conforto, and Cabrera have power, and then Nimmo's just a pretty decent hitter. So I really like those top 4, and they're cheap too.
Yeah, I don't get to them at all. I mean, I got a flat 0 of the Mets from the hitting side.
Wow.
I don't mind Conforto as a one-off option. Probably same sort of story for Jay Bruce. But yeah, I don't expect to have any real exposure to the Mets.
All right. We are going to be on different sides there.
We are not, for the record, we're not projecting any ownership to the Mets.
Yeah, I'll have the majority of that.
Conforto and Jay Bruce have a little bit. Well, I mean, we could talk about the Mets. It's Cabrera's got 5%, Conforto 6%, and Jay Bruce 8%. The rest of the team is 1%.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I think they're too expensive.
On DraftKings?
Yeah.
Oh man, Nimmo and Cabrera 400 or 4,000, and then Conforto and Bruce, they're under 4,000. That's not that bad. I don't know. I will have a bunch of Mets. Chatwood's been awful.
That'll be interesting. I like when I look at it, Conforto and Jay Bruce look good, or at least look like options for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is the fact that they have 3 of those top 4 guys are all outfielders. They don't have a naturally good stack because
that makes sense.
They don't have a third base option, which makes things tough. Their shortstop options are bad. You know, Mesoraco is fine, I guess, but like, it's really hard to make this work because everything is congregated in the outfield. So I think that's going to be a part of why their ownership is so low. If Conforto was a third baseman just randomly able to be put at third, I think a Mets stack pops up significantly more.
Yeah, that makes sense. I sort of agree with that. I never like using all 3 outfield spots, but I'm going to do it in a handful of lineups for sure.
Yeah, like, I think the Mets fit much better as making the conscious decision of going Nimmo, Cabrera, Conforto, Jay Bruce, and then finding another team like the Indians or something, where you can get a first baseman, a shortstop, a third baseman, and a catcher. Like, apparently I'm getting a phone call? Yeah, that's my thought process on the Mets. I'm really surprised I don't get any Cubs. They look to be grading out really well for me on FanDuel, or at least, like, mildly well. I'm surprised that I don't get anything, but we're not projecting any ownership for the Cubs or Mets on both sites. So, you know, I guess I just got to roll with it.
I really like Rizzo. Just Wheeler's giving up 45% hard contact on the year. So Rizzo is a one-off. I don't know how much I'll be stacking up the Cubs, and that sort of makes me want to play Wheeler. Just like, he's been pretty good against righties. He's had some good starts in okay spots. Like, I don't think this is a great spot, but he's a guy that I've been confused about. So I wouldn't be shocked if he has a nice start here or something similar to what he had against, was that the Brewers in his last start? Yeah, the Brewers. Like, he gave up a handful of runs, but 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. I could see him doing something similar to that. And that's probably fine for 6K. So Wheeler's going to be a guy that I'll have in a decent amount of lineups.
Yeah, we're projecting some solid ownership for Wheeler. I actually only got 2% of him, so he looks like he's going to be the guy that I quote-unquote fade, or at least right now. There are some guys that I need to knock back in ownership, like McCollus, for example, so that could change a little bit, but looks like Wheeler could be a little popular at that price point.
That's fine with me.
Interesting game. I think this is going to be one that, if that line moves at all in either direction, it could open up one of these sides. And it could move in either direction. I wouldn't have a clue where it goes.
Yeah.
Alrighty, this one will be the interesting one for me. Actually, will it? Yeah, maybe not. Okay, Nats and Braves. Nats, 4.3 run implied total. Braves, 3.7. It's a 57% chance to win for the Nats. Steven Strasburg is going for Washington. We've got Fulte going for Atlanta. I assumed that when I only got 12% of Strasburg and only 1% of him on FanDuel, that I was going to be in the minority. But we're projecting less ownership than I have on DK, and that really surprised me a little bit. We've already seen Strasburg just decimate the Braves earlier in the season. Now, you can make a case it's a different team, but it's not really. Acuna is not playing today. So I'm nervous about this game in like multiple ways. I feel like whatever exposure I have to Strasburg is wrong. Whether it's not a lot, or if it would have been the opposite and I had like 25% of him, I feel like that would have been weird too. I can't get a feel for what I think about Strasburg. That game in the beginning of the season is clouding my brain.
Yeah. I'm sort of on the same page. Just with all of these top guys, Sale, Cole, Carrasco, Strasburg, all these high-priced guys on DK, I can find something that's really alarming with either them or their matchup. So, yeah, I looked at that game, 8 strikeouts, 8 innings, no earned runs earlier. That was on April 10th, it looks like. It's pretty much the same lineup he faced there.
Yeah.
Even Preston Tucker, I think, was in the lineup back then. So, man, like, I'm just at a loss for words. I don't know what to do here. 12-1, Hitters Park. He's on the road here, so a little bit different. Like, I could see Freeman and Albies hitting him really hard here, and Markakis just doesn't really strike out. So I don't really think I like Strasburg that much. I'm probably going to be off of him, even lower than what we have for ownership projections.
Yeah, if it stays where it's at right now, I'm going to be very underweight on Strasburg on FanDuel, and I'll be right around the field on DK, and I think I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and call it a day there. I can't get a good feel for it, so it's really weird to me that I only got 1% of him on FanDuel. Like, that's... especially with his price, where he's not the most expensive pitcher. He's actually third. I would have assumed that went well, but I think that I'm finally starting to calibrate the Braves correctly. Strasburg doesn't have the huge K upside I would have expected in his projection, and I think that's because the Braves don't strike out all that much. Only projecting Strasburg for 6.5 Ks.
Yeah. That's the problem, too. I don't see him getting a ton of strikeouts here. I don't know. Maybe we're just off on this. I feel like I can't get a good feel for this slate. So that's why I'm really banking on these ownership projections to be pretty accurate, because then I'll know. But I was confused at what I saw with the top tier guys. I thought Strasburg would come in as really chalky just because he's not facing the Astros or the Red Sox, and he had already done it once against the Braves. So just confusing slate all around.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't have expected Strasburg to have less projected ownership than Zach Wheeler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that'll be interesting. Now, I think we need to talk Nats bats a little bit. I'm a big fan. Right now, I'm projecting double the field on DK. And it's the same guys I'm in love with every single day. Turner, Harper, Rendon, Adams, and Soto. I can't imagine not having a bundle of these guys. They just look great to me. It's a great spot. I like Fulte and all, but I mean, Harper, Adams, and Soto, that's scary shit.
Yeah, Harper, Adams, and Soto, those are the main guys I want to target against Fulte. He's another confusing guy, like in that Wheeler camp, where if you just like look at his game logs, he just has some starts where he looks dominant, like 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, 5 innings, 10 strikeouts.
I mean, he's
just
got
like
big time stuff.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had a good game here, but the walks are always going to be an issue. And the Nationals are one of the most patient teams in the MLB against righties. So he could get in trouble with walks here. You can make a case for the stack. I don't mind it at all, especially Harper, Adams, and Soto. So I'm more with you than on playing Fulte. I don't think I can play him here.
Yeah, I'm with you. His velocity on his fastball is up 1.4 miles per hour this year compared to last year, which I find interesting, I guess. He's shaved 0.8 of a run off his xFIP, so maybe he's a different guy. I can't really picture him being on the team for 4 years now. I feel like it's only 3, but kind of crazy to me.
It feels like he's been around for a while.
I just remember him being in the Astros farm system. So
yeah,
that's the weirder part to me. I don't get to any Braves bats.
I mean,
which I'm fine with if Strasburg's not going to have any ownership.
Yeah, I'm not really targeting Braves bats. I think 15-game slate, you can do better than targeting heavily against Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, I like Inciarte as a one-off outfielder on FanDuel. He's only 2,700. I think that's a decent spot for a guy that's not like the worst hitter in the world.
Yeah, leading off. I mean, he can steal on pretty much anyone too. So
my focus will be on the top 5 Nats.
Okay.
I'm going to hit a question here just so we don't pass it. Because
I was just going to ask you if you wanted to answer
it says, I just purchased Premium MLB at Awesemo. Wondered which is more useful, the value A or the point total A on the rankings and projections. So the value A is more important to start. What you should be shooting to do is getting as many A or, depending on the size of the slate, A or B values that you can, while also still using the bulk of your salary. So you can make a lineup of a ton of A value guys and still have like 15 grand left if you wanted to. So you want to try to use as many A's and B's as you can, and then upgrade those guys to guys that have higher fantasy point total grades as well, because that's going to give you the upside and the value per dollar. All while you're doing this, particularly on a slate this size, you want to be looking at stacking up teams. Stacks are going to be less important on smaller slates, but on a big slate, the chances of a team or teams having a day where they both pop off is much more likely to have outlier performances on a huge slate. So I'm a big fan of doing 2 big stacks for all of my lines on a day like today. So you want to manage getting all of those value grades in with trying to keep, everybody on probably 2 teams, maybe a 4-3 with a one-off that looks good to you. But the value column is going to be the one that should be paid attention to a bit more. You just want to make sure you're using all of your salary.
Yeah.
You want to add anything to that, Jake?
No, I think you said it. Well, so on a smaller slate, you want to do maybe 1 big stack.
Yeah.
And because there's a better chance, how Alex puts it, there's a better chance that there's a 1 outlier performance if there's only 8 teams playing.
Yeah.
Whereas tonight there's 30 teams, right? Yeah, 15 times 2. So you might want to think more about double stacking, go 4 and 4, 5 and 3, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they've looked into the research, and that's how they feel is the most optimal long-term strategy if you're multi-entering.
Right. But if you're playing just 1 lineup, or maybe like a 3 max or something, and you're building these by hand, you want to focus more on the value column.
Yeah, I like it.
Great question, though. That's the sort of stuff we want to talk about.
That's a good question.
We're good on Nats and Braves. We can move on.
Yeah, we can move on.
Alrighty, this one I'm excited for. Brewers and White Sox. Brewers 4.8 run implied total. White Sox 4.2. It's a 55% chance to win for the Brewers. Chase Anderson going for Milwaukee. Hector Santiago going for Chicago. I'm going to end up with some Chase Anderson on both sites. Looks like I'm pretty heavy on Anderson compared to the field on FanDuel. Relatively similar on DK. So I like him a little bit. I think he makes a really nice SP2 option on DraftKings. But the Brewers stack is where my bread's getting buttered today. Number 2 stack on FanDuel. Number 2 stack on DraftKings. I like the whole way down. I love being able to get teams against crappy lefty pitchers. And this is one of those days. Ryan Braun looks like a god. And I love it. I can't wait to play him. Talk to me about the Brewers.
Yeah, just one of the best stacks on the night. I don't think there's any doubt about it. You got Kane, Aguilar, Braun, Santana, Perez, and Pena even. So I like all these Brewers. It's just Hector Santiago. Like we know the deal with him. He's very stackable as far as going against. Now they got some wind blowing out. It's to right, but it looks like right center-ish. So it doesn't really matter. These guys have big power. They can easily get it out of this park. They don't really need help from the wind anyways.
Right.
Yeah, Brewers just really, really awesome stack. I'll be very heavy on the Brewers. And then I'm not the biggest Chase Anderson guy, so I'll probably be off of him. He's just looked really rough. Even in the starts where he's missing bats, he's sacrificing, giving up runs. That's what it seems like, to me at least. So I don't know. We're not seeing the same Chase Anderson that we saw a little bit last year. For that reason, I'm probably off of him. I really like Moncada for 3,700 leading off. I don't know. I mean, I just really like playing Moncada for 3,700. Just got big power, and he's going to get help from that wind as well. So if he gets a hold of one to right, it's going out.
Yeah,
that's about all I have.
I think the White Sox could work as guys in to be used as one-offs if you need them. I think Moncada looks really good. I don't mind that price point. I think Abreu looks really good. I don't mind that price point at all. Daniel Palka on FanDuel gets the lefty-righty matchup, only 2,700 hitting cleanup. Like, there are individual options that I like a decent amount on the White Sox. They're not a team that I'm going to be stacking up at all. Which reminds me, I should probably add a little section for total ownership in our projections on here, so I don't have to bounce back and forth. Yeah, we're not really projecting any White Sox ownership. We are projecting a solid amount of Brewers. They're one of the higher stacks, but as of right now, we're projecting a lot of spread in our ownership projections, which is exciting to me. I prefer that.
Yeah. Man. I mean, I wouldn't even hate a White Sox stack. Just Abreu just hits everything hard this year. Sanchez, lefty. It's pretty cheap, the top 4. Moncada through Palka. I wouldn't hate that at all. I
don't mind Skoll either.
I don't know much about him, so I'll have to look into him and see.
He's cheap. He gets the lefty-righty matchup, and he's hitting 5th. Like, that's really all I need.
Yeah.
But, again, I'm going to have maybe 1 line of White Sox, 2 lines of White Sox, something like that. So it's all Brewers for me. I'm going to have everybody in abundance. I can't wait. Like, Ryan Braun, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Braun against a lefty.
Yeah. I mean, for 4,000, that's stupid.
Yeah.
He should be one of the highest owned players in the slate with dual position eligibility. And we don't even have him in the top, 6 or 7.
No.
So I think that's a mistake. I think he should be higher owned than a lot of the guys in Coors, actually, that we have ahead of him.
Agreed. Indians and Twins. Get ready for this one. Indians 4.2 run implied total. Jake's 3.8. It's a 54% chance to win for the Indians. Carlos Carrasco going for Cleveland. Jose Barrios going for the Jakes. I don't get to any Barrios. Not really stoked about that, but the Indians are good, so it doesn't shock me too much. I get a ton of Carlos Carrasco, though. We're projecting him with a lot of ownership, one of the higher-owned pitchers of the slate. I'll be right around the field with that exposure. I'm not really looking at much hitting here. The only thing I'm really trying to pay attention to is Carlos Carrasco. I have a feeling you're going to pitch me on Barrios because you don't want to get fired from the Minnesota Jakes. So.
No, I'm not really on this game at all. Like
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I'm playing Barrios for 9,100.
Okay.
There's just a lot of other options. There's one in particular that I like in his price range that has a much better matchup. The Indians are just tough. Like they battle, they hit everything hard. It seems like. So I was watching a little bit of the game last night, and Odorizzi was just getting crushed. Like he would make some guys whiff, and they battle back in the count, and just end up like hitting doubles and stuff. So Indians are just really tough. So bad call by me on Odorizzi yesterday. Not gonna double down with Barrios. Carrasco just has huge strikeout stuff, so I get the play. He's really good at making guys chase and getting swinging strikes and whiffs and all that. So he would be the guy that I'd go to against the Twins here. But I don't love him at that ownership. Him being one of the chalkiest pitchers of the night. That's why I'm really torn on what to do with pitcher tonight, because I'd like to get some Carrasco exposure. I'd like to get Sale and Cole, but I'm gonna have to make a choice at some point, and Carrasco might be the guy that gets left off the top tier for me.
Yeah, I won't be moving on him at all. We're projecting him to be the third most owned pitcher on FanDuel. I'm right around that number. Projecting him to be the fourth most owned pitcher on DK. I'll be right around that number. I think he'll be properly owned, and I will have that similar amount of exposure. I just don't have much respect for the Twins.
I mean, they're not like a great hitting team, I don't think. Sano back in the lineup helps Carrasco in this matchup, I think. Like, he could easily strike him out.
Mauer doesn't help at all, for the Twins at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... it's going to be... I'm surprised Carrasco's owned as much, or like we're projecting as much as he is, and I'm getting as little Strasburg as I am, but it kind of makes me feel good about the Braves.
Yeah. Would you stack up would you stack up the Indians here? Just, I like the idea of getting a low-owned Indians team. That's about it. If Barrios doesn't have his control, he could get crushed here.
I don't see it on either site. I don't get to him at all, and if we're not projecting Barrios to any ownership, then I'm not getting a lot of like interest in the Indians. If we had Barrios at like 10% or 12%, then I think an Indians line makes a little bit more sense, but I mean, nobody's going to have them, and nobody has Barrios, so it's just not a direction that I need to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, no one's going to have them, so I might have a little bit of some Indian stacks. Just like if Barrios doesn't have it, then the Indians are going to clobber him.
Yeah, like I'd never be like Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, Encarnacion, Alonso. What a terrible stack. Like those guys are just good, so I don't have a huge problem with going to the Indians because of their raw talent. I just don't think it fits the puzzle pieces today.
Okay.
Where was that Warriors stuff yesterday? This hat was sitting on my nightstand. This shirt hanging in my closet. No, I don't think that's how you meant it. I'm not even a Warriors fan. I just like the clothes. I'm cheering for the Cavs. So.
Me too.
Red Sox and Astros. Whew. Red Sox 3.3 run implied total. Astros 3.5. Quite the pitching matchup. 52% chance to win for the Stros. Chris Sale for Boston. Garrett Cole for Houston. Hard to not like both of these guys. I won't have any hitting in this game. It's all about the pitching. And I would say that overall, I like Sale more than Cole. But ultimately, I'm going to have them both.
Yeah, I might have some exposure to both. I think I'll have more Cole than Sale, actually.
They're going to be the top two owned pitchers today, so.
I would think so. You're getting a little bit of a discount on both of them, which is nice. Sale, you're getting the road discount plus going up against some tough righties. And then Cole hasn't been as good, but another really tough matchup. Mookie Betts, if he's out, that bumps up Cole for me a good amount, actually, just because he doesn't strike out.
Yeah.
And then, like, the 4 to 5 lefties that the Red Sox are going to have in their lineup, that's going to be fine for Cole. He's striking them out at 45%. this season with a 190 xFIP. Like that's insane for a righty pitcher. I don't know what's going on in Houston. I say that every time, but it seems like all their studs are just killing lefties, and it doesn't really make all that much sense. But I don't know. I mean, you don't need Cole to be perfect at this price. He's not 13.5 like we've seen him sometimes. So I like that idea. I just think he's really good. The velocity is fine and all that. I don't know. I just think he is a really, really good pitcher, and swinging strike rate is way up. Whiff rate is way up. I don't know. I'm gonna have a bunch of Cole.
I get it. So am I. We're projecting basically no ownership to the Astros or Red Sox, so I can see wanting to get like one line of each team's studs together, but I don't get to it. I got 0 hitters here. We're projecting basically nothing. If you wanted to have a Betts, Benintendi, Martinez, Moreland, Bogart stack, or Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel, sure. You'll get over the field in a hurry.
Yeah.
But it's all pitching in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to stack up either team. I don't know if I'll have a hitter from either team. I just respect both these pitchers so much.
It's a sea of red on my sheet right now. So yeah, Sale and Cole. I prefer Sale to Cole. I'll have a bunch of them. I'll be under the field on both of them because I'm not going to have 40% of them. But I like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if someone has a really strong opinion on Cole or Sale that they're the number one pitcher, I'll defer just because I'm so. This is the most confusing pitching slate I think I've seen this year. Just no one really in that great of a matchup, and that should make for some fun tournaments. I mean, I'll say that.
Lorenzo Robinson. I love Sale. Astros horrible against left-handed pitching. That's absolutely not true. 116 weighted runs created plus for the Astros against lefties. They strike out below a league average rate. They slug above a league average rate. They have a higher than league average ISO, higher than league average hard hit percentage. Yeah, there are things that the Astros are, but bad against lefties doesn't appear to be one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that either. So,
especially because it's an entire lineup of righties, all the first 5 of which are like massively good hitters. This is a terrible matchup for left-handed pitching.
Yeah,
about
and
as
Sale,
bad as it gets, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it's not like Sale can't overcome this.
No, Gaddis, I mean, he's monster power against lefties. J.D. Davis, monster power against lefties.
Yeah.
I think
and they got my
the
boy
table
Stassi
in reverse
in
or something, or filtered it wrong. Yeah, they might be the best lineup against left-handed pitching.
They're one of them, I think.
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't argue with someone if they said they were the best. I'd get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Lorenzo, I didn't want to call you out there, but I kind of wanted to call you out there. A's and Royals. This one I'm excited for, too. A's, 5-run implied total. Royals, 4.5. It's a 56% chance to win for the A's. Frankie Montas going for Oakland. Ian Kennedy going for Kansas City. I love the A's bats. I've got double the field on the A's on DK. I'm over the field on FanDuel. They're my number 2 stack on FanDuel right now. Number 4 on DK. I'm just going to have a ton of the A's. They're so cheap. Jed Lowry and Chris Davis, the only guys on FanDuel above 3,000. The A's are going to make anything you want work today, and that's why they'll be as popular as I'm expecting.
Yeah, both righties and lefties are hitting Kennedy very well, very hard. And then the weather, too. 90 degrees, some wind blowing out, it looks like. He gives up a ton of fly balls, a ton of hard contacts. The A's just, like the Brewers, I think one of the more obvious stacks of the night, not priced up super high. We've got $3,200 Matt Joyce leading off. Olsen, huge power. Lowry shown a ton of power this year and last year. And then Chapman and Davis, like, don't forget about Matt Chapman. He's, like, if he gets a hold of one, it's going out.
Yep.
Kennedy serves it up, and Oakland is a top 5 stack for sure for me, maybe top 3. For sure, it's top 3 outside of Coors.
Yeah, I'm loading up big time on Oakland. I'm pretty pumped about it. They're just on FanDuel, it's a pricing thing. They're just too cheap. Piscotty 2,100, Fowler 2,100, LaCroix 2,000. I mean, not that I'm gonna have a ton of LaCroix, but I will on DK. I'm completely in for Oakland. It makes it really easy to do whatever you need to do. Getting a cheap second baseman or a cheap third baseman. All of this stuff fits perfectly. Matt Joyce 2,700 on FanDuel. Give me a break.
Yeah.
And then I don't really have much interest in the Royals. I get to a bit of Merrifield and Moose Tacos and Salvador Perez, but I'd rather just have an overwhelming amount of A's.
That's exactly where I'm at. Mostly Moustakas and Salvador Perez. Perez just exit velocity way, way up since returning from injury like a month ago, it seems like. So I like him and Moustakas mostly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to either of the pitchers here, I don't think.
No. I mean, I have a 1% here in Montas and Kennedy just because in 150 lines sometimes you get a scraggler, but not
Montas. Yeah, Montas had that really impressive first starting, but it was against the Diamondbacks. And righties against the Diamondbacks has just been cash. This is a completely different matchup. Not as good of a strikeout matchup, of course. And then the weather is really concerning.
Yeah, and we're not projecting any ownership for either of those guys anyway, so it wouldn't take much, but I don't recommend it. Alrighty. Pirates and Cardinals. Pirates 3.8 run implied total. Cardinals 4.2. It's a 55% chance to win for the Cardinals. Jamison Taillon going for Pittsburgh. Miles McCollum going for St. Louis. I've got a ton of Taillon and a ton of McCollum on DraftKings. I don't really get to either of them on FanDuel. For Taillon, I'm double the field right now, which is kind of scary. For McCollum, I'm 7 times the field right now. So we're not projecting really any ownership to McCollum. It looks like I'm going to be well above him. I won't go to 15 if he holds where he's at right now. I'll cut that a bit. But this is all pitching for me and absolutely no hitting.
This is a weird one too for me. So these guys just faced the opposing team last week. I don't really like targeting the pitchers in that scenario on the second time around. It's just like a thing of mine. So it's probably just a bias that I have. But even so, McCollum against a bunch of lefties here for the Pirates. The Pirates don't really strike out all that much against right-handed pitching, and then McCollum is only striking out 16% of lefties. So that's my concern with him at 8,700. If he was cheaper, then I'd probably be more likely to take him as like a value guy and just not worry about strikeouts that much. But man, I just have a tough time getting to either one. Taillon 6,800. It's an interesting price for him, so I get taking a shot on him there, but he doesn't have the biggest strikeout stuff either. Not that you need it for 6,800, but another game where I just don't have much interest in anything.
I'm surprised you don't like Taillon more at that price.
I want to. I really, really want
to.
to.
Bargain, man.
I know. And what do we have him projected for?
Ownership?
I think he's gonna creep up as the day goes on. And if the Cardinals are rolling out 7 righties like we see here, then I'll probably be higher on Taillon, much better against righties, 27% K percentage, 275 xFIP. Not a lot of hard contact, so like I'll end up with some Taillon. I just don't know if I want to go crazy with him for the second matchup in a week for Taillon against the Cardinals.
Now I get that part. We should look into that, actually.
I know. I was talking to myself on the night shift, and I was saying that I should do some research and see if that bias holds up or if it's just all noise.
I'm writing it down to check it out. I'll make that a project of mine.
There we go.
Alright. Yeah, no hitting. I'll have a ton of tie on, and if we keep McCollus down in that 2 or 3 range, I'll probably cut that 15 to like 9, and then redistribute to, fuck, I don't know, Tyler Molly or Folty or Barrios or somebody.
Yeah, it's just, God, this pitching slate is really making me angry as we're going through it. I'm trying to talk myself into guys, and I can't.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I expected you to be like, yo, I like 25 pitchers today.
I mean, I like probably like 10 guys, but there's usually like 2 or 3 that I love that I write up in spotlight pitchers, and I don't love anyone that I'm writing up, but these are probably going to be my highest exposed guys, okay. Which is really, really risky. Guys that I like.
I hear you. Oh, God, I just wish it were 6 o'clock right now. I'm just ready to play.
You still got a live stream, man.
I know. Today's one of those weird days where I want to have like 40% of my bankroll going and just sitting down and like chugging beers and like going crazy, having 4 games on at once. So I'm glad I'm not in college any longer. Because those are the sort of bad ideas I would do, where I would get in like 10 poker tournaments well outside my range at the exact same time and be like, fuck it. We're either going to have a great night or a shitty night.
If poker would have been around when I was in school, that would have been dangerous. Because I would have been really, really into it. I never got into it. I only was in DFS, but
oh man,
I spent enough time on DFS.
I would get like one in my room, my buddy Kyle. It would be like 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, yo, I'm at the final table. I just won $8 grand. It's like, what? Yeah, he had a really good... he had a really good run in college. Basically, like, he used poker to pay for basically anything that he wanted to do. All while being the quarterback of the football team. It
was super soft, right? Like how DFS was like 4 or 5 years ago when they had all those commercials. Just a bunch of fish playing.
Yeah, I mean, like, we hit that boom, and then everybody just wanted to play online poker, and like everybody did. Everybody in this age wheelhouse of people that were on their computers a lot. Like, we're basically playing cards. I remember being late to a baseball practice my senior year of high school because I was in the final 3 on a tournament and I couldn't leave. I just remember Coach being like, where were you? I was like, Coach, I won $100 playing poker. He's like, great, start running around the field. Like, you're fucking late.
Wow.
Yeah. We didn't really care. Practice didn't matter for us.
Just that good.
Yeah. I mean, like, legit, we were that good. We lost the state final, but yeah, we were that good.
So not that good.
Bases loaded, top of the 7th. Couldn't get a run in. I mean, it's I can picture that game clear as day. It's the most frustrating thing that's ever happened in my entire life. My parents hang that silver medal on their wall. I wanted to melt it down or throw it in the lake or something. Anyway, just got here, first time on Twitch. Baria, his price is steep, but I liked his numbers a bit. Haven't gotten there yet, so you're lucky. We're working our way down there. They'll be up in a couple games. And then just circling back to one other question from Lorenza. Also, thanks for the kind words, Lorenza. What's your preference on hard and soft contact? If they're hitters, I would like them to have a lot of hard contact. If they're pitchers, I would like them to give up a lot of soft contact.
In terms of using guys, like hard contact is one of the main things that I'll look at for pitchers in terms of guys that I want to stack against regularly. Yeah. So, yeah. It's important, but it's not everything. I should say that.
Agreed. It always makes me feel better when those sort of things are pointing in the same direction as my thoughts. Right. It would never make me completely grab someone or not grab someone, but like... If I'm like, I kind of like that pitcher. Oh, he gives up 28% hard contact to lefties. I'm in. But yeah, it'll be my tiebreaker more than anything. Yeah. Well, here we go. This one will be interesting. Dodgers and Rockies. Dodgers, 5.8 run implied total. Rockies, 5.2. It's a 55% chance to win for the Dodgers. Dennis Santana going for LA. Tyler Anderson going for Colorado. Dodgers are the #1 stack of the day. They're #1 for me on FanDuel, #1 for me on DraftKings. I expect them to be pretty clearly the top stack. Does that jive with that? It's number one on DK, basically number one on FanDuel. So, yeah, it's hard to avoid the Dodgers here. 5.8 run implied total in cores. The whole team is in play. I'll have them all. They'll be the most prominent stack that I run out there. What's really surprising to me is how little I have the Rockies.
Yeah, I think I actually prefer the Rockies over the Dodgers. And do we know for sure who's starting? Like, I don't really like the Dodgers all that much.
It's Santana on the gambling sites, so.
Yeah, so I got to look into him, but because it changed like 4 times last night, the projected starting pitcher from the sheet that I look at. I'm actually considering using Anderson in some lineups, and it's a price thing. I know it's Coors.
You're on drugs.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If you don't want to use a pitcher in Coors, I'll have some Tyler Anderson exposure, I'm sure. On the season, the Dodgers have an 89 WRC plus, 139 ISO, 311 on base percentage. They're just below average against lefties. And then I believe in Anderson's stuff. And I hate pitching today. I just hate it. So I think it's going to be one with the bats tonight, and Anderson allows me to get a ton of bats. So that's the appeal to him. I'm not going all in on him. I just think he can be okay for 5 innings here.
I think you're nuts. If this wasn't in Coors, would you be looking at Dennis Santana?
I haven't looked into him yet, so because I just didn't know who was starting.
Sure.
But
65 Ks in 49 2/3 innings over AA and AAA. Only 16 walks. On the 19th, he had a AAA start, 11 Ks, no walks in 6 innings. Doesn't really appear to walk all that many guys. He's had 2 11K 0 walk games in the past 2 weeks. Ooh. Now, granted, those are minor league games, AA and AAA, but he's a young dude. I think he lines up really well. He's been throwing, 5 innings, 6 innings every game, so I'm not super worried about the length of the game that he can go. I don't see any reason to suspect that he couldn't, throw an easy 6 here. I mean, other than Coors. I'm trying to take the Coors portion out of it. There's no way I'm starting Santana. Maybe a line or two because he's only 4,000, but this is more of a briefing for the future.
Yeah,
he projects go ahead.
If he's 4,000, I didn't know he had that good of strikeout stuff, so I'm just looking at some of his stuff right now, going through a few of his game logs, and this is not how you should do your research. But it looks like he's got good strikeout stuff game to game. I don't think it's the craziest idea to use a 4K pitcher at virtually no ownership. Like, if this wasn't Coors Field, Santana would probably be chalk, right? So you're going to get him at very, very, very low ownership, and that's the appeal to Anderson too. We've seen him have big starts in Coors, and you get those just because it's Coors. No one ever looks at the pitchers. Gray was super low owned a couple days ago, and it didn't work out, but the ownership was where you want it to be, and Anderson's going to be 2% owned or something. Santana, same thing, maybe a little bit more, but that's the appeal. It's what they get you with the rest of your roster, and you just need them to be okay. So,
Santana, number 8 prospect in the Dodgers organization coming into this year. Slightly above average fastball, save for the slider, average changeup. Doesn't have the best command in the world, although it's been pretty good so far in AA and AAA. So I think he has the stuff to succeed here. I'll probably force in a few lines of him on DK.
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. He's going to get slept on today, I think.
Yeah. I mean, people will realize, like us, as we were doing this in real time, kind of going through the game log and stuff, like, okay, they see double-digit strikeouts and stuff. And he had a double-digit strikeout game in 4 1/3 earlier this year. So this guy looks like he can be very good. We've seen pitchers come up and have really good starts in Coors in their debuts. If you can't hit the ball, Coors Field, the thin air is not going to matter. So,
right.
Yeah.
Good.
No, and that's why I like Anderson, just for the chance that he's missing bats.
Sure.
And huge leverage play as well.
Yeah, very much so. The Dodgers bats are going to be crazy owned. Like, I can't talk about anybody specifically. I have everybody in double figures of ownership except for Bellinger on FanDuel, and that's only 9%. Like, I just have a ton of everybody. I don't get to the Rockies, though. A little bit on DK, but I don't even have them on FanDuel.
I'm not crazy about either side. Turner and Matt Kemp, I think, are really, really awesome plays. But I'll be lighter than the field on both sides, I'm sure. Blackman just against a righty, like he's always in play. Are we getting LeMahieu back tonight?
I don't have him. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. He's leading off.
Okay.
Fuck.
Blackman and Dahl. I mean, those are the two guys that I really like. So probably cherry picking more than stacking for Coors tonight.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm not trying to intentionally stack. If the crunch gives me a few, then I don't mind. But I like some other spots that are not Coors and will not be super highly owned.
Yeah, I've got half the projection or half the ownership that we're projecting on the Rockies on DK, and let's see, on FanDuel we're projecting a total of 38%, and I've got 4. Like,
okay.
Of all the times to be fading Coors, apparently this is the one for me. So I will be watching this game very, very closely because it's all Dodgers for me.
Yeah.
Touching on 2 things in the chat. Yes, the Yankees are in play today. They're an excellent stack on both sites. And then I do not like my coffee like I like my women. I'm not a big Irish coffee fan.
Neither am I.
This is just regular old coffee. I like more traditional things in those situations. Like, I don't like spicy drinks. I want my drink to be refreshing, not like a pain in my ass. So, and I don't want to get drunk on coffee. I want to get alert on coffee.
Yeah.
Marlins and D-backs. Marlins 4.1 run implied total. Diamondbacks 4.9. It's a 58% chance to win for the D-backs. Alicia Hernandez going for the Marlins. Clay Buchholz going for Arizona. Not really a big fan of the pitching here, but you'd be surprised to know that I'm going to have a ton of the Diamondbacks hitters. They're my number 4 stack on FanDuel. I appear to be double the field there. They're my number 6 stack on DK. Similar scenario. Bring on the Diamondbacks. 4.9 run implied total. At some point in time, either Vegas is going to wake up or it's just going to be right.
No, I mean, I like the Diamondbacks a ton too. 2 through 5 mostly is where I'll be focused. Goldschmidt, Lamb, Descalso, and Peralta. Elizer, yeah, I mean, he's fine. I don't really like playing Dyson.
I get it.
I don't like guys that don't have like any power. Does Dyson have any power this year?
Yeah. I mean, ever? No.
Yeah, I don't see a home run. I don't see even like doubles.
No.
So I don't mind putting him in there for 3,200 leading off if you're doing a 5-man stack. But he's not a guy I'm going to intentionally try to get in. The Diamondbacks, I think, are on the fringe of a top 5 stack for me tonight. And because of Coors, they're going to go under-owned. Every other stack is going to be under-owned relative to Coors, I think. So I'm all over Diamondbacks. Elizer grades out as one of the worst pitchers on the slate for me, if not the single worst. I think Bartolo Colon is the worst. But it's very few strikeouts, swinging strikes, all that. So, yeah, like me some Diamondbacks. That's all I have for this game, really.
Yeah, Dyson, Goldschmidt, Lamb, Descalso, Peralta. Big focus for me. J.R. Murphy, I guess, comes along on DK as a catcher option. But those first 5 guys are going to be owned quite a bit on my end on FanDuel. And it's because of the assortment of guys. You get a first baseman, a second baseman, a third baseman, and then 2 outfielders. So you have a lot of options. They make it easier to be a good stack, especially when you get Dyson at 2,500 leading off, or Descalso as a second baseman at 2,800 hitting cleanup. 4 guys that are lefties getting a righty matchup against a pitcher that's not very good. I can't stop rostering the Diamondbacks. It's like I have an addiction.
Yeah.
They're everywhere for me. And
they've
they're
been
so
better
bad
lately.
this year, though.
They've been better lately.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
They've got a 66 weighted runs created plus against righties this year. That's atrocious. It's the worst option on the entire slate, and I'm going to stack the shit out of them.
Yeah. They're going to be low owned, so if they're going to be chalk Diamondbacks against a righty, then that's a different story. But
yeah, I'll be doubling up on them, I'd say.
I like that.
Cool. Rangers and Angels. Rangers 3.7 run implied total. Angels 4.8. It's a 61% chance to win for the Angels. Bartolo Colon going for Texas. Ami Baria going for the Angels. I don't want either of these guys. I don't even really want any hitting. I'm surprised I don't want more Angels, but they are not popping up for me right now. Are you looking at anything here?
Yeah, Angels against Bartolo.
That's what I figured.
So Bartolo, if you go on Baseball Savant, you just want to look up average exit velocities. Against righties, he's getting clubbed 91.6% or 91.6 mile an hour average exit velocity. But his expected WOBA is way up. Like, everything looks good for the LA Bats. And then, of course, they're going to have a bunch of righties in there. Trout, Upton, Pujols, Ohtani, Simmons, Kinsler. I'm not leaving any of these guys out if I don't have to. And this is another reason why I'm not really on Coors. I think they're going to go under-owned, and they shouldn't. So I'm more on the fade Coors and play some of these really great stacks outside of Coors camp. And the Angels are going to be used heavily for me.
Yeah, I would have thought that I got to Cozart, Trout, Upton, and Pujols more, especially with Cozart having the dual eligibility on DK. They're just not popping up. I'm not entirely sure why either. That's the weird part to me. They would be a team that I would try to focus on purpose as it gets closer to lock. Just, like, we're not projecting any crazy ownership out of anybody other than Trout. So I think that I can easily get to some Angel stacks that are functionally solid, especially against Cologne.
Yeah, like, are we going to get low-owned Angels against Bartolo Colon?
I think we are.
Yeah, so I have to be well over the field if that's the case. And yeah, he could take a line drive off the gut, Shark says in chat. So that's concerning, but I think it's going to be line drives into the gaps, line drives over the fence. Trout's got to be one of the he's got to have the highest chance at a home run tonight, or like top 3 highest chance at a home run tonight off Bartolo.
I've got him fourth, if that helps you.
I don't know how well he's hit Bartolo. I don't know. I mean, but it doesn't really matter all that much. And then we haven't talked about pitching in this game. So not Bartolo stacking against him, but I like Jaime Barria. And I wish he was priced lower. He's 9,300. But just targeting against the Rangers, I like doing. He's got some good swing and miss stuff lately. His last 3 starts, swinging strike rates of 14.6, 13.5, and 13.5 again. And those were against the Rockies and Coors, the Astros at home, and then the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. So impressive stuff. He gave up a couple home runs against the Yankees, which is fine. That can be forgiven. And just the Rangers over the last month, 27% strikeout rate almost, 83 WRC plus against righties. And I'm just not confident in much of the pitching. I think Barria is a pretty safe option. I think he's got a good chance to get you 20 DK points, and I'll gladly take that.
I got none of them, and we're not projecting any ownership.
Right. And that's the thing, too. If he was priced at 8K, I'm sure the ownership would be bumped up. He's kind of in a weird price range, especially for not being a big name. But I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah. The fact that he is the sixth most expensive pitcher on DK is kind of crazy because he's not even remotely close to that same spot on FanDuel.
What is he on FanDuel? I'm sure he's
6,800 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So that's,
I like that.
Where did he go? 68. So he's 13th on DK. Or on FanDuel, rather.
Yeah.
I'm going to announce this next game, and then I'm going to go say goodbye to my wife quickly and let Jake talk this through. She is on her way out of here. Rays and Mariners, 4.0 run implied total for the Rays, 4.5 for the Mariners. 56% chance to win for Seattle. Sergio Romo getting the first inning for the Rays. Mike Leake going for Seattle. I get a little bit of Leake, but the crazy part is we're projecting him to be the third most owned pitcher on DK. I can't get there for that. So you chat up whatever you think about Mike Leake, and I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. I don't see it with Leake. Like, he's just not a guy that's going to make – he's not a guy that's going to get a bunch of swinging strikes or anything. He's had okay starts recently. The O-swing percentage is average. The swinging strike stuff is pretty average as well. Just not really someone that I'm interested in targeting all that much. Still giving up 40% hard contact on the year against righties, so he's got those reverse splits. I'm not that worried about the Rays bats, so I guess I get the Leak play. Just really, really hard for me to justify playing Mike Leake on a 15-game slate. I will say, though, he's coming off an 8-inning performance with only 2 strikeouts. The swinging strike rate has been below 5 the last 3 games. So that's concerning for me. If he's going to be chalk, then I have a really hard time playing Mike Leake. Wow, I did not see that kind of ownership coming. I guess the $4,800 price tag will do that, but consider me not a Leak truther.
You're not on Leak? I'm back.
No.
I don't get it. Do you?
I don't get it either. I mean, I get the price in that he's not on a pitch count, and it's the Rays, and he's at home, and he's favored. But as far as like his stuff goes, I don't know.
I can't figure it out. I can't imagine how he gets to. What do we have him at? 21%.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was on him. Not everyone, but a lot of people were on him against Texas, and I get that. I mean, that's a completely different matchup. And it was when Texas was at their peak terribleness a couple weeks ago. But, I mean, he's given up 1 earned each of his last 2 starts. He's gone pretty deep. I could see him going 6, maybe 7 innings if things are going well. I don't see it. I don't know.
It blows my mind. I would much rather have Dennis Santana.
I got to look into Leak more because that's really weird. Like, what do people love about him?
I got nothing. Unless it's I don't know. I have no idea. I can't understand that whatsoever.
It's got to be the chase. I mean, the chase rate is good. I'll say that. So 42%, 45%, 29%, 36%. So that's nice, I guess. I don't know how much the Rays chase, though.
Who do we think's coming in for Romo? I haven't.
That's what I don't know either. I saw it was Austin Pruitt yesterday.
Did Pruitt come in yesterday?
No, I saw it was like Pruitt was on the FanGraphs projected page. So if it's Pruitt, then I like some Seattle bats. I like Haniger and Cruz and Seager. But with the uncertainty, plus Romo's just been mowing guys down when he's been doing this. And that always sucks when your first at bat just gets wasted. Is it Pruitt? Okay.
It looks like it's going to be Pruitt. Because Yarborough threw yesterday.
I mean, Romo's good. And he's been good in this little gimmicky thing they're doing. That's actually pretty smart. I don't know.
It could be Bandit today.
Yeah.
Banda usually goes before Pruitt.
I don't know. Either way, it's...
I can't imagine getting to either of those guys in this spot.
Yeah, guy.
Unless I knew for sure it was one of them. But I don't think the Mariners are the best spot to, like, try to get cute and grab that other guy. I mean, I'd probably rather have whoever's coming in for the Rays over Mike Leake.
Oh, man. I mean, I just go with Leake there. Go with the starter. I don't know.
You know for a fact that, well, like, let's just say that we knew it was Pruitt or Banda. Like, let's just, whoever we know it is, we know that they're coming in as if they're the starter. So.
True.
I'm in for whoever that may be. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the day, but I would rather have that person than Mike Leake. Unless their salaries are weird as shit.
I'd rather go with Leake, I think.
Crazy.
So Pruitt went 4 days ago, it looks like. Or I'm sorry, 5 days ago. So he's rested. He went 5 2/3, 5 Ks.
Banda went the night before that, so that makes me think that they would go to Banda here. Banda followed Stanek last time, though, so who the hell knows?
Wasn't that yesterday?
The game before that. Yesterday was Yarbrough.
Okay.
So it looks like it could be Banda. I'd want to know more, so I'll check out like D-Race Bay or something, see if we have anything going. But it's not like they're guys you want to have a lot of. But if you think it's going to be Banda, I think there's a reasonable stance at having like 1% Banda or something along those lines. Especially if Mike Leake's going to be 20% owned.
Dude, yeah, this is super interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into Leake. So if I change my mind,
start the Rays in a couple lines with that sort of exposure to Leake.
Yeah, if I have any hot pitcher takes, I will come into the live stream and send them out in there. I'll come into the chat, but it's a weird day for pitching for me.
I agree. Any interest in the Mariners bats? I don't know if you talked about that at all.
Haniger, Cruz, and Seager.
Okay.
But it all depends on who's coming out of the pen, so I can't really say I'm heavy on anyone just yet.
Okay. The wife is off to the location of our headquarters today.
Really?
Chi-Town bound. Yeah, I wanted to go. She didn't know she was going to go until relatively late, so by the time I could have booked a flight, it would have been like $700. I wanted to go and hang out for a little bit, but just can't pull it off.
Yeah.
So, man's weekend again. 2 weekends
in a
row.
Wow.
Gonna be going nuts, eating pizza bites. Reds and Mariners. Nope. Reds and Padres. Reds, 4-run implied total. Padres, 4-run implied total. It is 50-50 game, sorta. 51% Padres right now due to rounding. Tyler Mahle going for Cincinnati. Walker Lockett, which is incredibly difficult to say, going for San Diego. Does not have a salary on either site, which I think I'm actually right about this time, as opposed to yesterday when I was wrong. But I'm a big Tyler Mahle guy today.
Yeah, dude, I want to play Lockett. I was just looking at him, and then I realized he's not on the slate.
Yep.
So
yeah, he grades out real well.
That absolutely blows.
Yeah.
So Mahle, I mean, I'm not going to get to him. I think he might be like a trendy mid-tier option just in San Diego.
I have three times the field right now.
I mean, he's a favorite in a really good park, and he's been okay, I guess, but like I haven't seen the swinging strike stuff from him for the last 5 or 6 starts. And that's why I was on him earlier in the season, but this is a game where I don't really have anything that I like, so I'm not going to act like I do.
Yeah, I'm going to end up with a really uncomfortable amount of Tyler Mahle, I think.
Well,
it scares me quite a bit, but I just have no, to get the game in Petco, I have no respect for San Diego bats. 80 runs created plus against righties this year. No power whatsoever. I think Molly's fine. He's got a bargain price on FanDuel, only 6,100. So I'll get to him a little bit there, but he's going to be a really popular SP2 for me. I'll have a ton of combos of Cole Molly, Sale Molly, Carrasco Molly.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, dude, I don't even want to talk about this game. I mean, if you like stuff,
it's just Molly for me.
Okay, I'm good to move on.
I have 20% right now. If he's in the 5, 6, 7 range, I'll cut that down to probably 14, 15.
Okay.
So I won't go too crazy. It'll probably, I would guess most of that would go to Folty. So it'll tweak a little bit unless that grows. The line has gone down slightly since I started. I just made the switch now. It's only a 1/10 of a run on both sides, but it's every little bit helps for pitching. So
right,
Molly's my guy. I don't think a lot of I'll be on him way more than the public.
Yeah.
Final game. So. Phillies and Giants. Phillies 4.1 run implied total. Giants 3.9. It's a 52% chance to win for the Phillies. Nick Pivetta going for Philadelphia. Chris Stratton going for San Francisco. I do this every week. Sometimes I'm happy about it, sometimes I'm not. Chris Stratton is a guy that I'm going to have a lot of exposure to. He's going to end up similar to Tyler Molly, I believe, although we're projecting significantly more ownership. I'm not sure I'm that excited to be super over the field on him on DraftKings, but I'm going to end up with a solid 15-ish% of Stratton throughout this day.
Yeah, I mean, Stratton's like the obvious value guy, right? I mean,
I think so.
He just in terms of being in a good park, and he's had some okay games, but his hard contact rate is ridiculous, almost 50% to righties. Still, we're 2 months into the season now. Like, this guy is just getting crushed.
Apparently, Mike Leake is the obvious value guy today, but just not to us.
I don't know. So I'm gonna be digging into all these guys and seeing if I can come up with a reason to play them, because I'm really looking for a reason not to play Tyler Anderson, and Santana on the other side of the Coors game. But that's where I'm looking right now, and I can't play Stratton at 20% or whatever we have him 15% on this slate.
Yeah.
I'd rather play Althair and Santana and Herrera against him, even in a bad park. I mean, I cannot get on the Stratton train. He just grades out as a very bad pitcher for me. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a decent amount of Pivetta as well. Looks like I'll be over the field on him on both sites. If Stratton's ownership stays in that teens area on DK, I'll force in a stack or two of Philly. I think they look okay on the surface. It's another one where they have a lot of hitting congregated in the outfield, so it's kind of tough to get to. But I'll want maybe 5 or 6 lines of the Phillies if Stratton stays where he's at, because I think he shouldn't be getting that much respect. So I'll take the other side of it. I got the other side of it on FanDuel a little bit. I don't get to it on DK.
Yeah, and so I think I don't know where you're at on this, but just the reason Stratton and Leake are going to be, or we have them as being chalky, is because we've got a lot of people prioritizing Coors Field, right? And just the expensive bats in Coors, right? Or just the expensive bats in general. I mean, the Dodgers aren't even that expensive.
No, they're
so
not.
People are going to go Sale, Cole with Leake or Stratton. That's going to be pretty chalky, right?
I don't get it. The Leake one, I don't have an answer to.
I mean, I'd rather go
because
Strasburg.
I get to Stratton without any sort of opinion on the slate. I get to a bunch of Stratton. I get to more than the field on Stratton. So that one is not as weird to me. The Leake one, I can't wrap my head around that. The Dodgers pricing is fine. The Rockies pricing is fine. The Yankees are super expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if people are prioritizing Coors throughout the day, then I will just I'm not saying full fade Coors, but I'm going to be way underweight. I think I have respect for both pitchers in that game, and there are a lot of gas cans going outside of Coors, and if they're going to be lower ownership, they're in not as good of hitting environments, but just a step below. I'll gladly take the Yankees. I'll take the Brewers and the A's, the Angels. I don't know. I mean, I just think they're in better spots. It's just Coors Field. People just go crazy for, which I get, but
yeah,
I think there's two good pitchers on the mound.
No, I'm with you. I wish I liked Phillies more, but I think I'll end up forcing that in on DK just to get some exposure. I didn't even look and see what we actually have them at. So no exposure to the. We're projecting nothing to the Phillies, which is very, very surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, Santana, Herrera, Alfair, Williams are all guys that I like, so they'll be sprinkled in for me for sure.
I agree. All right, let's look at some crunches.
Let's do it.
Figure out two pitchers.
All right, I'm on delay here because you didn't share your screen with me, but
dude, why didn't you tell me?
I just realized that now.
Oh.
I was. Let's see here.
There you go. You should have it now.
It's just black right now. Let's see. Whatever. Oh, there we go. Let's try like Cole and who's going to be a chalky pairing? Cole and Leak, I guess.
I got 3 of them, so let's take a look at it. I get A's and Dodgers with Cole and Leak.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah. Brewers
so you can get
and Rockies.
Coors. Yeah. Now it makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, you still have to play Mike Leake, but you get all the bats.
Yeah.
So
Taylor, Turner, Grandal, Joyce, Davis, Piscotty, Lowry. Yeah, that's makes a little bit more sense when you look at it like that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'll have some Santana. I'll have a smattering of Tyler Anderson. If Leake and Stratton, 2 guys that I don't really like, if they're going to be chalk, then I'll get my exposure to that price range elsewhere.
Do you see what I have on the screen right now?
Cole Sale.
Yeah, with A's and Brewers.
Woo-hoo. That is something.
Chris
I mean, it's
Davis,
not
Chapman, LaCroix, Ryan Braun.
It's not the best part of the Brewers lineup. I mean, I like Braun, Perez, Santana, Arcia. I mean, I'd like to get like Jed Lowry in there, but if you could do that, maybe that's the way to go.
Like this would be a really unique lineup, I think, too.
Zig while others are zagging. I mean, would I play Leak? Zach asked, would I play Leak? Right now, I'm leaning towards not like having 0% Leak. I'm gonna look into him. That ownership is really weird. So, I mean, I get why people want to play Leak, but as far as him, like being able to strike guys out, I'm really concerned about that. Which strikeouts are king. Not as much when you're 4,800, but yeah, I guess I would play him if I don't know, dude. I don't even know how to answer that. Pitching sucks today. That's what I'll say.
Carrasco and Sale with an A's White Sox stack, including Moncada at second.
Maybe that's the way. That's why I like Berea too. He's even cheaper. Even allows you to get an extra bat in there, down from Carrasco or Sale.
I mean, the fact that you can stack up the big guys together is an interesting turn of events for me.
And you could probably do that with like the Angels, getting 2 of the top 4 or 5 guys in there. You could definitely do it with the Diamondbacks. You can do it with, who else do we like?
I got a bunch of Diamondbacks A's stacks with Carrasco and Sale.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I like it.
I'm very surprised that you can make hitting work with the top flight pitchers.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it. I gotta go to FanDuel. Not the crazy killing me. It's that easy to forget. I find FanDuel Crunch is so like unappealing to look at because of the lack of like pitching weirdness.
Yeah.
All right, let's load this up and we'll take a look at it. I'm gonna assume that I'll look at Carrasco, I guess. If this ever refreshes itself and lets me scroll down. There we go. I mean, this is going to be just, like, blatant, amazing lineups, I'm sure, but...
For sure.
Yeah, there's the A's and Dodgers. Bellinger, Turner, Taylor, Kike Hernandez, Lowry, Joyce, Piscotty, Chapman. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches. Yankees, Dodgers, Brewers, Dodgers. You can have whatever you want, even with the best pitchers today. I'm going to be congregating a lot of my ownership towards the top end when all is said and done, I think, because I think I can get to enough of the good bats.
Yeah. Yeah. Should be fun tonight.
Yeah. So, hockey tonight?
There's no hockey tonight. The game's tomorrow.
Extra day of travel?
Yeah.
Gotcha. No basketball tonight. That'll be tomorrow. Right?
That's, I mean, is it Sunday? It might be Sunday.
I honestly don't have a clue.
Let's look it up.
When's the 3rd? Yeah, it's Sunday. So, yeah.
Sunday.
No basketball today, no basketball tomorrow. It's just all baseball right now. Jake will have hockey stuff tomorrow, though, I guess.
Yep. Spotlight, or the Showdown article. There's actually a huge tournament, I think, on DraftKings for that game, for the Showdown. It's like a $500 tournament with like $15K to first or something, which is pretty big for hockey for a one-game slate.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do that, which is not smart, but got to do it.
Spotlight hitters and stacks are already out. Spotlight pitchers out yet?
It is in the process of being out.
Gotcha. All right.
But, yeah.
I think that's it, everybody. If you have any questions, get them in like the next 30 seconds. Otherwise, we're getting out of here because we've been doing this for a long-ass time today.
Yeah, we have.
I'll give it 30 seconds and then we're getting out of here because I kind of want to go eat.
Me too.
Like every other day, I'm going to go make myself 2 tacos and they're going to be phenomenal.
Tacos? It's not even 11 there.
No, 10:43. Breakfast tacos. So I'll do a little chicken, a little chorizo, some Monterey Jack cheese. I'll put an egg in there. Phenomenal.
That makes sense.
Yeah, breakfast tacos. Look, all tacos are breakfast tacos if you eat them in the morning.
That's true.
Alrighty, guys, that's everything. Best of luck tonight. I'll be around at 6 for the live stream with Chris, and Jake and I will be back again Monday morning. So keep an eye on all the content, and we will talk to you later.
Good luck.